And talking to Ugandan because we are in Uganda, Ugandan perspective. As long as you give me my money, as long as you pay me, I don't care. That's why even most of Ugandan shops, especially the general market, is the Irish shit. There is an emphasis.
Yes.
Goods once sold.
Not returned.
So how? Because I've found it very hard to educate or to remind people that that thing must be removed
Yes, yes.
from the receipt.
Yes.
But the guy says, as long as you pick your money from your pocket,
Paid for good.
paid for goods, you've taken your goods.
Yes.
Even if you've not taken them, as long as you've paid, you take them. Because there is a scenario, one of my friend bought a shoe from a certain also from a boutique, and then the guy, I think he was very excited, puts it on, feels it's okay, talks around with his friends, then later after a while, after like 10 minutes, he was still talking with his friends. He realized he was doing what? It was not the fitting him well, it was like
Okay.
not fitting him well. It was too small for his leg. And then he tells the guys, like, I think this thing is too tight for me. And I don't think you have any other shoe. Get me my money back. The lady refused. It's like, man, you've bought your product. It's what you've liked. Goods were sold.
Not returned.
So how is it a good policy? Because most Ugandans use that. Once you've bought goods, you can't return them. You return them at your own risk. Now, can this affect how business is done, or it is one way to go? Because once goods are sold, they're never returned.
Well, one of the reasons why Chinese are beating the world with their goods, it's because they've understood what it means someone spending money on something that won't work for them.
Yes.
So if you realize, or if you make a very strong research, you realize that goods with a certain guarantee, mostly bought and expensively, because this person will know that there is a guarantee. So those people have not adopted the ideology of once goods are sold are not returnable. They have really realized that it demotivates customers, because by the time you get home, maybe I've bought freezer from your shop and it's not functioning and the receipt has that condition, I may not buy from you again. I may not recommend a friend to buy from you. I may not actually talk good about your business and your services. So to me, I think one of the reasons why small businesses have failed, it's attitude. It's attitude. So for your friend, about the show scenario, it was actually about the seller's attitude. Otherwise, for someone who understands business, should have told the customer that, please, you know what, allow me make an order for a shoe that fits you. Kindly give me a day or two, come pick a shoe that fits you.
Or give him his money
Or
back.
gives him his money back.
Now is it hard to pick money from the drawer? And again,
actually, it is actually a tight situation. At some point, you find that this person, maybe it's the only sale she had made on that particular day, and all her problems for that day were solved. So she thought of refunding the money to the customer. She decided to become arrogant. At times, tough times calls for tough measures. So be.
That was a tough measure.
So to me, I think I will also join you in actually advocating for that condition, that to be removed off the receipts. Goods once sold are not returnable. It should really be scrapped off.
Because at least there is a survey I read. It was made in some outside country. I don't know why you don't do surveys here. Is that where you said where there was an option that once you take a good within this number of days, and you realize it was not your choice, it is fitting, it is okay, but you've changed your mind. Please return it back, and again we shall either pay you money, or we give you something equivalent to that.
True.
So the study was 90% of the goods that were taken were never brought back.
Okay.
You get? And 5% of the 10% that was left that were returned, the clients were accepting to be given another product of the same value.
Okay.
And then the other 5% was like, no, give me my money back. So which means chances are high that once that guarantee is there,
Yes.
people will feel free.
Yes.
Even they will not find a reason to complain.
Yeah, true.
So I think that is all about how do you build your relationship
With customers.
with your customers, because you're in business for customers,
Mm.
and if you are not treating them very well, they will also not treat you.
Very well.
And if they don't treat you well, obviously you are out of business. That's why in Uganda, at least millions of businesses start every single day,
Yeah. Yeah.
but most of them don't survive the third year.
That is true.
Most of them end by the end of the year. So I think the biggest challenge is when we get into the business, we forget that the customer is the boss. Even you find some people's shops or businesses, they say the customer,
Is the boss.
but when you come to the business, the guy is on WhatsApp. He's not paying attention
Yeah.
to what you are, or he's arrogantly. But you said I'm the boss. But now, if the boss steps in, you must stop whatever you're doing and pay attention to the boss.
Yes.
But here it's what?
It's the opposite.
Because the guy will say, "This is my business." It's my and it is what?
Actually, there is one business I know around for Porto City. The boss and his employees are all arrogant.
They are the bosses.
They are the bosses of the customer.
Yes.
Like, it is actually one of the small, well-performing businesses around town. But I've really met 4 to 5 people actually having the same comment, that the boss and the employees are all not good when it comes to handling customers. The employee won't feel shy to actually chase you away as a customer in the presence of the boss.
Yes.
So business success, to me, purely depends on attitude. That is for small businesses that are operated by 1 or 2 people or 3. Yeah, but for businesses where it is higher, for businesses with structures, it is very easy for one person maybe to misbehave and another person to actually act in a very good way.
Yes.
Yeah, so business failures, attitude is one of the contributions.
Now, as we are winding up, we are looking now at the role of the digital. One in Uganda, we have the biggest problem of slow internet, and I think most people haven't built on. We are still using social media and other internet spaces for social work, not business. How do you see the e-commerce, digital businesses, or doing businesses online going to transform a small business, a micro enterprise, a small enterprise? What is the role of this technology of the internet going to play or is playing in business world?
Well, we talked about marketing.
Yes.
Hundreds of thousands of people are always online every other second. Personally, I have close to 7,000 followers on Facebook.
Yes.
There is a possibility that if I posted something on my page, around 2,000 people or followers will actually see it. And whoever comments on it, their friends also will be notified that so and so commented on Salim's poster or advert.
Yes.
So, for now, we can embrace technology in the way of using it to market, to create awareness for our goods, as we also work on the aspect of trust. I've seen most people order goods online for people with conditions where a customer is supposed to make a prepayment. At some point, the vendor does not send through the customer's goods, even after the customer paying for the goods. For businesses where the customer is supposed to pay upon delivery, after the customer receiving, they even switch off their phones.
The customer doesn't pay.
The customer doesn't pay. So digital marketing should be embraced, because it's where the world is heading. It's actually the new normal that we really need to embrace and make sure that we leverage on it to cut costs of marketing. Instead of hiring 10 sales agents or sales executives to go to different people, we can use different spaces. We can use different spaces. I personally have a viewership on my status of close to 200 people. Every time I post something, at least 200 views will come from 200 contacts of mine that I have. That's WhatsApp. So, in case I have an advert at least it will be seen by 200, not less than 100 people.
Yes.
So creating awareness to 100 people within a twinkle of an eye, it saves me costs.
Yes.
Because so at least among the 100 people, 3 to 5 will come to my inbox. How is this done? What are the terms and conditions? How much is it? And at least I will be able to close a sale.
Yes.
From the 5 people that have actually contacted me.
From the 100.
From the 100. So digital marketing involves lots of things. Involves videos, podcasts, using our social media handles. But unfortunately, some of us, or most people, use their social media handles the other way around. They use their media handles to abuse the current leadership, the current government. They use their media handles to look for men. They use their media handles to look for women instead of using it to look for clients.
Yes.
It does not matter the type of business.
Yes.
If I'm a welder, let me design my very good door, my good window, my very good gate, and post it. At least among the population on internet, one should be able to spot the good work you're doing.
Sure.
Yeah, so much as that internet penetration is still very low here in Uganda, but still we can still use what we have at hand to get what we want.
Yes. Now, as I'm winding up, I normally ask this question towards the end of every podcast.
Yes.
3 things. What do you think is central to your success? Your skill set, your network, and your work ethic. Of these 3 things, which one do you think that it is the most credited for your progress as an entrepreneur? Skill set, work ethic, and your network.
Well, I would say network, because with good network, and be able to get something I wouldn't have achieved just by me having skill sets.
Yes.
I mean, when we are just starting, if I can just give you a reference, when we are just starting our company and we are in the process of acquiring a license, because of my network, a lawyer had requested 3 million to help me process a license from the regulators. But I contacted a friend of mine. Man, I'm starting this and I want to be legally operational. Guy was like, okay, have that number, tell the person it's so and so that gave you the number. And long story short, instead of 3 million, I only spent 700 to get the license. So even if I had no skills to operate this business, I can still hire someone with the skills. Yes, to do that work. For as long as I've used my network to maybe get the money, I've used my network to get a license I need to operate. I've used my network to get customers. Yes. And then I won't comment about the work ethics. I was just giving some light on why I actually chose network over the other three aspects. Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen who are just listening, of course, as we are coming to the conclusion, according to Salim, the director of YOPSA Finance Services, your network is very central for your success as an entrepreneur. Then the last question would be, in the next 5 years, where do you see YOPSA Finance Services? Because I want to look back on this podcast 5 years from now and still come back to you and ask, did you reach there? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Well, this is a very good question, and it has actually always kept me moving. In the next 5 years, does the question is it personal for the company?
Both.
Well, in the next 5 years, and I had it written somewhere, that was 5 years ago. I said at my age of 35, I should have not less than 200 employees in my different ventures. My personal goal after 5 years, I should have ventures or employing not less than 200 employees. And then the next 5 years, YOPSA should be one of the most renowned microfinance institutions in the region, not Western region per se, in the region of East Africa. Yeah. So in the next 5 years, I'll need to also host a podcast with any person from your team to really confirm to them that, guys, you know what? 5 years 5 years ago, I had podcast with your CEO, And I told him that after 5 years from now, YOPSA would be one of the biggest